I was sick of being the CEO in my relationship.
Welcome to the What's Eating You podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I'm a psychologist, published author, and public speaker here to educate and validate. Enjoy the show.
If you're in a relationship or looking for one, this is a great opportunity for you to learn, reflect, and analyze your relationship. If you haven't been here before, my name is Stephanie and I am a psychologist and I'm the host of the What's Eating You podcast. And today we're exploring a topic that affects many of us, the mental load in relationships. We'll discuss this concept I created called being the CEO in your relationship. We'll delve into the psychology behind Dr. John Gottman's 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse and explore strategies for creating more successful and balanced partnerships. Now, as always, this is not medical or professional advice, so take everything with a grain of salt and make sure you always consult professional support. I also want to highlight that all relationships are different, and whilst it can be easy to compare yourself to other people's relationships, there's a lot of complex dynamics that go into being in a happy relationship, but it also really comes down to being happy with yourself, knowing your standards, knowing your values, and knowing what level of importance that all plays in your relationship. So let's get into it. Number one, we're going to discuss this concept of understanding mental load. It's something that is relatively new, and I heard about it through a friend, Zach. So Zach is on TikTok, and his TikTok is recovering man-child, and basically he talks about mental load in relationships and makes really good videos about how mental load happens in relationships. So all it really means is mental load is the invisible, often unnoticed work involved in managing a household and relationship. It includes tasks such as planning, organizing, and remembering responsibilities, which can feel overwhelming when not shared equally. For example, think about how often you plan meals, schedule appointments, remember birthdays, and ensure bills are paid on time. These tasks may not always be visible, but require mental effort and energy. I realized this the other day. We are moving house. We've moved house. And my partner did say to me, like, hey, I've organized cleaners, or the cleaners are coming to clean the old apartment. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. And the next day, I got up, I went to the gym, la-di-di-di-da, walking from my new apartment, this new route, new experience. And I was just doing my little workout and I was all happy. Di-di-di-di. And then I called my partner and I was all like, la-di-da-di-da. And he's like, oh, yep, I'm just at the house. The cleaners just came and yeah, they did a really good job because, you know, they changed the times 3 times and we had to sort of get them in and this and that. And I was like, whoa, stop there. I don't even remember. I was completely unaware, completely oblivious to the fact that we had cleaners going to our old apartment. I didn't have to worry about time they were going to be there. I didn't even have to worry about being there. I didn't have to worry about opening the door. I didn't have to worry about taking out cash. I didn't have to worry about them finishing, about paying, about notifying the building manager or whatever. And do you know how good that felt? Do you know how good it felt to just be in La La Land? It's funny because my exes always used to say, you live in La La Land. And yeah, it's a good place to be. So when you don't have to constantly think about every aspect of your relationship, my God, it's a freeing feeling. And it felt incredible. But I have never felt this before because I have been the CEO in my relationship and I thrived off it. Okay. Like growing up, my mom was always hardworking, always cleaning, always working. We had a store at Queen Victoria Market. She would take us as kids and we would just play in the boxes while she served customers, while she helped my dad. Then she'd take us home and take us places and all these things. And she just like went for it. So I always witnessed the mum hustle. Do you know what I mean? Even as a kid in school, and you see all these other parents go to swimming lessons, I was just like, oh, my mum's working. My mum had to work. And it wasn't like some sad sob story or anything like that. And my needs got met and everything. But it was just so normal for me that mum was always hustling in some way. And I'm not saying that's bad. Like, obviously, if you can be present for your children, that's amazing. But mum has always played a big role in being CEO. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad always say, where's this? Where's that? Find this, find that. Mom, even as kids, Mom, where's my t-shirt? Mom, where's this? Mom, where's that? And you actually don't realize how much your mom takes on such a big mental load. Now, I've also witnessed this in family, how much the woman does. Oh my gosh. The appointments, the finance, organizing the children, cooking the dinner, paying the bills, looking after the mortgage. And I know this because that used to be me, and I was proud of it. So imagine the CEO of a company who oversees operations, delegates tasks, and ensures everything runs smoothly. In a relationship, being the CEO means actively managing responsibilities while promoting collaboration and partnership. So I used to be so proud that I would book my partner's appointments, and I would be so organized. I'd be so on top of things. And I would say, we've got this birthday and we've got this weekend, and it's in the calendar and it's on the whiteboard, and I've paid the bond and we move in on this date, and I've done this with the agent. Because I could, it doesn't mean I should. And then I just decided one day to become the dumb fox. And you're probably wondering, the dumb fox, what is that? Well, I just decided to play dumb. And this might sound really mean, but it was amazing. And look, my partner I'm with now, oh my God, he is so different because he obviously lived out of home earlier than me, and he'll joke around and he'll be like, Stephanie, you are not living at insert address anymore. Your mum is not looking after you. Like, you got to do these things, right? Because my mum did everything for us growing up. And when I moved in with my partner for the first time, I was so amazed with how much he could do. Like, and these might seem like little things, but even a dishwasher, I didn't know how to use a dishwasher because my mum did everything growing up. And same with just life stuff. When we was packing his house and packing his belongings, I was like, why do you have 6 different types of cups? Who needs schooners and wine glasses and short glasses and tall glasses and little glasses and shot glasses? And just how to do a doona and how, like, anyways, those little things. And I said to him one day, I'm like, when did you become an adult? And he said, oh, about 25 or 26. And he just answered so naturally and normally. And it was really funny, like he would cook for me. And the way he cleaned and the way he sprayed things down. And yeah, I was just like, I felt weird. I was like, shit, I think like I should know how to do these things and I should do them. But I just never prioritized it. But he had to, obviously, because he moved out of home. So my strength was obviously the business side of things, was, you know, administration, organizing, planning, like, yeah, like get on top of everything. And yeah, one day I just said, nah, I don't know how to do it anymore. Sorry. And when we moved house, I said, hey, like, I'm not dealing with the agent. Sorry. I really want you to take care of that. And he was like, yeah, done. Sure. Hey, I don't want to deal with any of the moving, the bond cleans, any of that. Like, you do it. Yep, done. And to not have to worry about that, my gosh. Do you know how nice life has been? Even we have this deal where if there's an event in his family, he handles the present and the card and the gift. And if there's an event in my family, I handle the card, the present, the gift. So when it was his brother's baby shower, He called me. He was running around like a lost lamb. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. Like, how do I shop for this stuff? Da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, it is hard. I get it. But I helped him and I said, look, just get this and that, da da da. And he did it. But I really feel for women who have to do everything, who have to do the shopping, who have to pick up all the presents and organize the kids' birthday parties. Like, you shouldn't have to do that on your own. But I understand that everyone has different relationships and different dynamics. And with kids, I imagine it's very difficult. So I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf, but what I want to share today is my strategy to just be the dumb fox when it comes to things you don't want to do anymore or you don't have to do in your relationship to help your partner help you with mental load. Now, as promised, I wanted to talk about John Gottman. So, for those who don't know, John Gottman is a renowned relationship expert. He's a psychologist, and him and his wife have worked on studying couples in what they call the love lab for many, many years. And I love and adore his work. I think it's fantastic. So, he has this concept where he talks about 4 communication behaviors that predict the end of the relationship. So, John Gottman is able to predict with 90% accuracy if a couple is going to end in divorce. I don't even think divorce. I honestly apply this to couples I know, and even in relationships who aren't even married, it applies as well. And it's so true. So there are 4 communication behaviors. If you have these in your relationships, it's likely that your relationship is going to end unless, of course, you address it. So I'm going to go through them and then I'll go through how you can support yourself out of these. So the first one is criticism. The second is contempt. The third is defensiveness. And the fourth is stonewalling. Let's go through what they are. 1, criticism. This is attacking your partner's character or personally rather than focusing on specific behaviors, such as you never help me around the house. And never is such a strong word. That's an all or nothing thinking word. I feel overwhelmed with chores and would appreciate your help. Criticism, you're never home. You don't do anything. You're lazy. You don't work hard enough. Number 2, contempt. Now, this is when you think you're better than your partner. So this is when you express disdain or superiority, often through sarcasm, eye rolling, or mocking. Oh, my partner never makes me orange juice. When you're talking to a friend and your partner's there and your friend had orange juice made by his partner. Or, oh, you forgot again? What a surprise. That kind of attitude of contempt, red flag number 2. 3 is defensiveness. This is protecting oneself from perceived attacks by deflecting blame or making excuses. I honestly think defensiveness is the most annoying, frustrating behavior to deal with. And I know because I used to do it. I used to be very defensive. When I was young, going through an eating disorder, I would blame others. I would be like, why attacking me? You're always attacking me. And I think it's a Pisces thing as well. You think people are always attacking you. But when you are defensive, you don't have any room to grow. When you're defensive, you don't have any room to build your awareness. So, for example, it's not my fault. You didn't remind me. Or if you simply ask your partner a question about something or you're trying to get clarity and they're like, oh, are you calling me a liar? Is that why you're asking me this? Are you calling me a liar? And then they project it back on you, right? And 4 is stonewalling, withdrawing from the conversations, shutting down or refusing to engage. So imagine you're kind of putting your hand up or you're putting this wall of stone up. Examples, the silent treatment, or every time your partner tries to bring something up, you leave the room, you take the keys, you drive off, you say, I'm not doing this anymore. It's so ineffective because a mature adult can have a conversation. And if you can't have a conversation with your partner, you need to ask yourself why. You need to ask yourself why. And one thing I've noticed in this relationship I'm in is he is so calm, so collected, so open, so non-reactive that when I ask him a question, even a deep, weird question about his past or something, he will tell me straight out. He has nothing to hide, nothing. Sometimes when I get asked questions, I can get a bit like, yeah, why do you want to know that? But it's just so different to what I'm used to. So if this is you, don't worry. If you're like, oh my God, my partner is all of those things, no wonder we fight, blah, 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 it's okay. You can prevent these. Yeah, so there's an antidotes for every 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So to prevent these 4 horsemen from taking over your relationship and manage the mental load effectively, here's the strategies. So for criticism, the antidote is to practice positive communication. So you want to use I statements instead of you statements. So you want to focus on expressing your feelings and needs without blaming your partner. For example, I feel stressed when the house is messy and would appreciate some help with tidying up, rather than you never tidy up. See how that's way more neutral? When it comes to my relationship, I love this sentence. May I suggest? Oh my gosh, it works every single time. If I want my partner to engage in a behavior or to do something, I'll say, hey, babe, may I just suggest that you pop the dishes straight in the dishwasher just so we can make it really easy for both of us in the morning? He's like, yeah, cool. Like that's it. It ends there. So just really soften your language, and tone is so important. The tone of how you speak to your partner, oh my gosh, it's really important. And this is something I've really had to work on because sometimes I'm tone deaf with how I deliver things. But the good news is you can always work on it. The second thing is with contempt, show appreciation and respect, and just be mindful of your partner's feelings. Regularly express gratitude for your partner's contributions, both big and small. Recognize their efforts and show respect for their perspective. Okay? So the next time your mate has orange juice from his partner, instead of saying, oh, my partner never makes me orange juice, wow, that's really amazing. I can't wait for me and my partner to make orange juice together. Make it something proactive and nice. It's not an opportunity to shoot your partner down. I make an effort to really celebrate things my partner does. And people will be like, yeah, but that's just an expected thing. They should be doing that anyway. No, he does it because I respect it and I sing it. So even little things, I'll be like, hey, babe, today when you ordered the water filter and I didn't even have to think about it, that really made me feel cared about and appreciated. Like, I know it might just be a water filter, but the fact that you took the initiative to order a water filter without even worrying me about it, I love that I didn't even have to think of that today. So thank you for doing that. And rewards get repeated. So when you reward someone for their behavior, when you positively praise them, you are increasing the likelihood of that behavior continuing. So if you want your partner to keep continuing a behavior, start praising them for what they do, no matter how big or small or how disgruntled you feel. Right. Create a shared calendar. This is awesome. So if you're doing a lot of mental load and you're controlling everything, teach them how to use a calendar. When I met my partner, oh my gosh, he had no calendar. I was like, what do you mean you don't book things in? What do you mean you don't have a schedule? It's like, well, I just do the same thing every day. Well, what do you mean? Like, what if you have a birthday or something coming up? Oh, someone will remind me. Oh my gosh, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, okay. Step 1, what gets scheduled gets done. So we're going to schedule everything, and he learned, and it was so cute. So what he started to do was book dates and then send me calendar invites for the date. So he'd book dinner and be like, date night, and he'd send me a calendar invite because he knows calendar invites are my love language. So you can retrain, but you got to do it together. And then the other thing I got him, number one, is to migrate to an iPhone because Samsung, Android, we just don't get along. So he was able to use the shared notes feature, and we have shared notes with everything. And it's so good because you can change things and collaborate on things and share things. So we have a shared note on our goals and what we need to do in the apartment, and we have a to-do list and we allocate it. And it's nothing extreme. It's literally just a to-do list we can both see. And then if there's an event in the family, we pop it in the calendar and we send an invite. So you get reminders. There's no excuse. So help to do this together. Or one thing we had in our old place was a whiteboard on the fridge. And that was awesome because we'd write down what we need and whoever was going to the shops would just pick it up. Number 4 is regular check-ins. So I speak about this quite a bit, where you have a relationship meeting or you schedule a time to discuss the relationship, including any concerns or changes in responsibilities. This helps to ensure that you're both on the same page. Like, let's talk about last month. What went really well? What sucked? How can we work on this together? Number 5 is develop conflict resolution skills. Okay. So I was speaking to a friend recently who's struggling a bit in her relationship. She finds like when she brings things up with her partner, he gets very defensive and he shuts down and he leaves. And the first thing I asked was, are you aware of this? Is he aware of this? Does he know that he does this? Have you voiced your needs before? So the first thing is just write down like what is bothering you and what the problem is. Because sometimes the problem's not the problem. It's how we are communicating about the problem. So say to him, I really want to talk to you, but when you shut down and you leave, it's really hard for me to. So how can we make sure we listen actively and we validate each other's feelings rather than assigning blame? We want to focus on problem solving. And the way someone responds to your feelings tells you everything you need to know about the relationship. If despite your feedback, they continue to shut down, they continue to leave, they're not open to working on themselves and changing, then the question you need to ask yourself is, am I willing to accept a lower level of relationship satisfaction to be with this person? Because they're never going to change. The biggest mistake people make is they have these checkbox of what they want in a relationship, which there's nothing wrong with having check boxes, but they meet someone who doesn't even check any of the boxes, and then they just expect that person to change and become those check boxes. And whilst someone can mold into a better version of themselves, they have to want to do it. You forcing them is not going to work and be sustained long term. So remember, managing the mental load and fostering a successful relationship, it requires effort, communication, and collaboration. You have to work together. But by keeping these 4 things, criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling in your mind, you can start to work with it, not against it. So remember, don't stay quiet and compliant in your relationship. You deserve the world. You deserve to feel loved. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel secured. And if someone's not making you feel that way, there is someone out there who will. So don't be afraid to face the hard realities of life if you need to. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. You deserve a fulfilling and harmonious relationship, even if that takes time to find. And there's always resources if you need. Speak to a professional. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please let me know. Share it with friends. Share it with family members. If you have that girlfriend or that family member who you know is in a toxic relationship and they need support and help, send them this episode. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Welcome to the What's Eating You podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I'm a psychologist, published author, and public speaker here to educate and validate. Enjoy the show.